had attended Harvard.
Man,
Wait a second.
that's a different breed.
My man, you telling me
Harvard University.
Spectacular from Pretty Ricky
Yeah.
that was doing the all that.
Yeah. Shoulder move.
Pop
Hip
hip thrusting on stage.
Yeah.
Got into Harvard, attended Harvard, and then created a program for entrepreneur business.
Correct, because I believe in you're literally one conversation from your life changing. You're one circle away from your life changing, right? You're one strategy from your life changing. You're one video away from your life changing.
Cheat code.
Listen, man, we got a crazy episode today. We got one of the dopest guests that I think we've had on the show thus far. This man here is, like I tell everybody, man, Pretty Ricky, the gang, man, and my man Spectacular is responsible for my first child.
Man,
hands down, the music they put out, the whole vibe during that era, man. I don't think anybody can forget it. Any of y'all millennials out there, y'all already know how dope, Pretty Ricky and Spectacular was and specific during that time, man. But it's much bigger than that. We have a whole lot more, to introduce on my man Spectacular, man. I appreciate you coming through. She code unlocked, man.
The man.
But my man, a lot of you may not know that Spec is also one of the dopest business moguls out there.
For sure.
If you don't know now, you about to find out right now, man. So Spec, again, appreciate having you on, man.
For sure.
And yeah, man, let's jump into it, man.
Yeah.
Ready?
Let's go. I'm always ready.
Ready to
man?
drop the cheat code,
Ready,
man? We need
cheat
all
code,
the
man.
cheat code from you today, man.
Facts,
Let's
man.
go. I ain't gonna hold back.
Yeah,
that's
let's
what I
do
like
it,
to hear,
man.
man.
So-
Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, just started in the music game.
Yeah.
And from that, and a lot of people don't know, I got forced to be in the group.
Wow,
yeah.
that's crazy.
I never wanted to be a rapper a day in my life. Like
Yeah.
they was like, yo, get in the group. My father was like, get in the group with your brothers.
Right.
And from that point forward, I was like, all right, cool. They gave me one verse one day. And then all the girls started going crazy when I started
like,
rapping
oh,
my
yeah,
first.
yeah,
So, oh, yeah.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
That boy was like, I can stick around.
But yeah, I went from that to they was like, yo, put Spec on all the songs.
Oh,
So
wow,
then,
yeah.
I became one of the lead guys in the group, and it just kind of grew from there. But during the transition of my dad, handling the business but not doing it so well, the group ended up splitting up. Pleasure P went and did his own thing, and then we went and did our own thing.
Right.
But at that moment, I was always in love with social media.
Right,
I helped
right.
the group go #1 on MySpace. At the time, it was like
MySpace was crazy. back then.
300,000-400,000 users on the platform at
Wow,
the time
that's
when we
massive.
got on.
The first viral platform, man.
Yeah,
MySpace
yeah.
really-
And we was #1. We was the #1 most viewed actual audio on MySpace,
MySpace.
and we was the #1 page on MySpace.
That's crazy.
And I was leading the whole pack on that, and just like the strategy and everything. And then transition from that to Twitter came out. I think I got on Twitter around like 2007 or 8, I think.
Oh,
I think it was 2008.
Mhm.
And really started double downing on that. Like for me, I understand that in every situation, you're going to find someone who's already ahead of you.
Mhm.
And I'm a strong believer in getting close in the proximity of those people,
Right.
and then learn from them, and then accelerate whatever you find out
Right.
and take it to the next level. But with hard work and making sure you're being studious when
Right,
you're around
right.
those type
Yeah.
of people.
You never stop.
So I got inside a group that was kind of in that game,
Mhm.
and I learned from them, and actually got a call from Matty J.
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
shout
Matty
out
J was
Matty J.
like, yo,
Matty
trying
J.
to win an iPad.
Yeah.
He like, yo, Spec, trying to refer me, you can make money off this platform.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I said, all right, let's go. Came to the platform.
And you talking about Twitter?
It was called, I was on Twitter, it was called My Like. So it was called
Okay.
traffic acquisition, where you
Okay.
basically can actually post articles on the page or links on the page, and when the traffic go there,
Right.
you made money from advertising.
Oh,
Kinda like
okay. Air
affiliates.
traffic, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like affiliate
Right.
marketing. For me, it's either you first or you last.
That's
Huh.
a fact.
So I seen the leaderboard, and I said, "There's no way I'm gonna be at this bottom." So I
Yeah.
got in. Proximity is everything. I started getting in the right circles.
Mhm.
You're literally one conversation from your life changing.
1,000%.
You're one circle away from your life changing,
Mm.
right? You're one strategy from your life changing. You're one video away from your life changing,
Cheat
from
codes.
going viral,
Pay attention.
right? So I
Yeah.
end up getting in these groups, seeing what they was doing, and then I took what they was doing and I put it on steroids.
Oh, man.
I did what they call
Next level.
buying digital assets. So as I start building my pages up, I end up #1 on the leaderboard. Now, mind you,
So
it was 100,000 publishers on at the time.
when you say when you say building your pages up, you saying that you built like individual pages on Twitter.
On Twitter, correct.
And these were pages that were, what were they talking about?
There was parody accounts, role playing accounts,
okay.
niche accounts
Okay.
about love, about joking, Will Ferrell, Cat Williams, Angelina
Okay.
Jolie,
man.
right? All these pages that I was speaking their voice to the point where people would say, "Hey, Will Ferrell, you need to be like this Will Ferrell," because I was just on there, just going crazy, cracking jokes, the whole 9 yards.
You're more humorous than the people themselves.
And so that
You don't have
that
time to do
basically
all that,
that garnered you an audience in each one of those pages.
Correct,
Right.
because I understand that it's OPA,
Mhm.
other people's audience.
Mhm.
I don't have to have my audience when you already got the face.
Mhm.
So a lot of people are like, oh, you is because you Pretty Ricky, you famous. No,
Mm.
ain't nobody know I was behind those pages.
Mm.
I didn't use my brand because I got tired of using my brand. My brand already had its stigmas or it had its ups and it had, its pros and its cons.
Right.
So I decided to take somebody else's brand
Mhm.
and then show them how they can capitalize off of it.
Mm.
Man.
And they wasn't the way I was.
Right.
So I started really making millions off of that. So that was when my
Make it-
business acumen first
Yeah,
started,
develop.
because I said, yo, I was always like top 5.
Yeah.
And then when I mastered the craft, I put so much time and energy into it. I mastered, I superseded everybody on the list. So I ended up #1, up and stuck. I was just #1.
Man.
So I went
On
to
the leaderboard.
everybody and I said, listen, evidently you'll never be #1.
Right.
That's what I
Because that's what I am, right? There can only be one.
You can only
Highlander.
be #2
Right.
at your
At
best.
At your best.
Yeah.
So I say, this is what I'm gonna
Ambassadors.
do. I went to the top 10 guys and I say, listen, you're obviously not #1 and I am, but I'm gonna take whatever you're making and I'm gonna match it and I'm gonna double it and then we do a rev share off of it.
Right.
And you ain't gotta do nothing. Because in business, you got to figure out, how do you have a blue ocean strategy? How do you become different in the marketplace?
Mhm.
And the way I was able to become different, I understood how to grow a following fast, accelerate it.
Right.
So I figured out how to,
Yeah.
I figured out how to accelerate growth. So that's why I was able to make more money than everybody. See, they just knew the advertisement game.
Mhm.
And then I understood how to go buy more pages, right? I said, all right, I caught a wave and I learned how to do it. So now I said, okay, well, I'm already making this much money every single month. It got to the point I was making $83,000 a
Off
month.
of the referrals.
$83,000 a month off the traffic
Advertising,
acquisition.
yeah.
So I said, okay, well, let me take this and reinvest. A lot of people, they make the money, they bleed it dry, and then they end
That's
up with
it.
nothing.
Yeah.
So I took the money and I started reinvesting.
that's-
And buying
I
other
take the
pages.
whole 80,000 and go buy a bunch of pages. So
Right.
now my next one is 160 now.
And so you doing all these pages yourself?
It was literally me and automation tools.
Okay, automation tools. That's what's up.
That's
Okay.
A skill set
So
in
now,
itself.
so then this is what I'm hearing, right? So you saying you basically master traffic acquisition and building and scaling brands, and this is completely separate from you as Pretty Ricky. So this is something that any individual with enough dedication and patience and understanding the game can essentially build for themselves. It's not even got nothing to do with you being starting off ahead or none of that type of stuff. So now, that being the case, what do you consider after learning, how to build and scale a brand? What would you consider a cheat code to building and scaling a brand like as quickly as you were able to do it?
It's really just figuring out your niche and what you're great at. And once you figure that out, how do you accelerate that process?
Mhm.
How do you double down on what's working?
Mhm.
And what was working was me building pages.
Mhm.
So I started from 0 to millions of followers. So I asked myself, okay, well, how do I accelerate this?
Yeah.
The only way to accelerate is 1, partnerships, 2, buying other pages,
Mhm.
pages that's already making money. So now I say, hey, you're making $2,000 a month. I know I could turn this into $10,000 because you don't know what I know.
Mhm.
So I'm going to buy you for 10x the price,
Mhm.
and I'm going to make my money back within a few months. So I kept doing that to every last person.
Amazing.
And I knew the leaderboard who was making the most money.
Mhm.
So I reached out to all of those people and say, hey, you're going to make the same amount of money you're making, no matter what, guaranteed. And then whatever I add on top, we bust down 50-50.
Mhm.
And I'm going to make your pages grow. So every single day, your page is worth more money.
Mhm.
So that's when I created my company. And then it went from that to me saying, man, I can go to celebrities. I'm doing it with parody accounts. Imagine if I had the real Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Imagine if I had the real
That's crazy.
Cat
Especially if you
Williams.
were in on it. Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
at the time, Twitter it had a bad taste in their mouth because we was at the beginning of Twitter used to have like pages at the front for homepage.
You started getting in front
I was
of
on the
actual real
homepage
people.
all the time, and then the people started complaining Twitter because they felt like it was a negative thing because people thought they was the real celebrities.
Right.
So they literally suspended all of our accounts.
Mm.
Every account. I had like 5 million followers. Suspended every last one of them.
Man.
Took
That's
me out the
tragic.
game. So now it went from that to, man, damn, this messed up, man. They done wiped us. Met up with Matty J.
Mm.
We start building the pages again. We got up to like 4 million
4 million followers.
again.
On one
But this
page
time
or multiple pages?
multiple pages. Me and Matty J teamed up and we started going crazy together. And then they swiped all the pages again.
Mm.
Man.
We was like,
That's
man, this is
crazy.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
Because they felt, and then they realized that the people actually love the parody accounts.
Yeah.
So I'm the reason why if you go to Twitter and you see parody in the bios,
Yeah.
it was because of me.
That's crazy.
They deleted all the parody accounts and they say you have to put parody in the bio now for them
Just
to
to
know.
identify so people
To
can
identify
know.
as actually a parody account.
Yeah.
And then from that point forward, we just got turned off. We was like, man,
Yeah.
we done with this. Because we used to run
crazy.
we used to run trending topics and all. We're the reason why they control trending topics now.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
wow.
Me and Matty J, we used to run the whole board.
Wow.
We was like, all right, we gonna put, if your man did this hashtag, and then we'll make that trend number
Oh,
one.
all the
Then
other
we'll
big
do
trends.
all 10, and we'll make them trend in 10 minutes.
Oh man,
Yeah,
nah,
wow.
that's crazy, man. You learn how to master somebody's voice,
Mhm.
be somebody's voice better than themselves,
100%.
and then be able to find a strategy to collaborate with another people or competition in
Yeah.
the space essentially, and then double down and exponentially grow.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
people out there are hearing this, like, I mean, that's something that we
Turn
talk about.
turn your competition into
Yeah.
collaboration is what
Yeah.
I hear from that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And second thing, man, mastering like building an audience. I think, like you said, borrowing other people's audience, but then also knowing how to master an audience and master traffic, I think is the key on the internet in general, right? Like
Right.
in order for you to monetize in today's day and age as a business or an entrepreneur, you have to be masterful at developing an audience
Correct.
and being able to get that audience from point A to point B, being, on their phones distracted by all the other stuff that's out there to actually clicking on what it is you're trying to click
Right.
and then driving that traffic. So I mean that's
Yeah.
actually really powerful. So now
While automating though.
while automate, I think that's
Yeah, I was
that's the
about to
most
say,
important
even
part.
recognizing that the algorithm
Yeah.
even exists and knowing
Understand
how
all
to
the
work
yeah.
the algorithm in your
Yeah.
favor.
And it change it every time.
Man,
Yeah,
they
switch
change
it up
every
on you.
time.
Switch
Yeah.
it up on you. I like that,
Special.
man.
Yeah.
So now, so you went at pretty Ricky popped off. You decided to just kind of go in a different direction at some point.
No, I was still on. This was around when On the Hotline came out.
What?
Wow,
You
what?
wait a minute. So
That's the
so,
that's the curveball.
hold on.
To have
On the
dedication,
Hotline came
man.
out in 2008.
So you telling me that you were doing this while you were on the road,
While I
traveling,
was
doing all that?
Everything.
On tour. When I came into the game, we mastered the game. We figured out how could we bring something different. You
Right.
never seen 3 rappers and 1 singer ever.
Never. Yeah.
It's a different swag. You never
Right.
seen dude, wow, city boy, pretty boy, light
Right.
skin, dark skin, pretty boy. What like
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
It's a formula.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Mm,
we
Nah, that's
mastered
crazy.
our formula. You got somebody hype on the track. You got mellow,
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah.
Then you
Yeah,
got the
y'all-
fast,
yeah.
and then you got the singing.
Yeah.
You got all like
That's a
it's,
fact.
Every angle.
It's
Y'all
a
were
formula.
versatile
Every
as hell. Y'all had all different.
it's a
variety.
formula,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
and the formula still exists to this day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's the same formula that we created. It still exists
Relevant.
for a formula
Right.
of a hit record to this day. I went through that struggle phase, and that's when I really, learned the game. And then I started partnering up with the celebrity. I made them a massive amount of money. So I went to the celebrity, say, this is what I did, not only for myself, but for
other
others.
people.
I'm gonna do the same thing with you.
Proven
Mhm.
method. Yeah.
Now, starting my business, you would think just because I'm spectacular, people would want to do a business with me,
Mhm.
but it didn't work like that.
Yeah.
People would see me and it would be a negative. They would take the meeting, but never do the business with me.
Right.
So I had to make myself or my own company a co-founder and go to Google and find a white guy and put him as the CEO.
Jesus,
Mm.
that's
That's-
crazy.
Because
Yeah.
I realized that
value.
they wasn't taking me serious, and they would take me more serious if a white man was the CEO and I was working for the white man.
See, now that's
So,
Man.
what happened was I went from getting no deals to now I start getting deals because now the white man is the CEO and I work for him. So now you don't have to base your decision off of me.
Right.
You don't have to base your decision off of
It's off the company.
You got to base it off the company and the value that it's going to add to you,
Brought forth.
not what Spectacular did in Pretty Ricky.
Right.
Now, was that something that you saw across the board with celebrities, like in specific to like the art culture, like the hip hop culture?
It was all. I didn't do no deal with no white people at the time. When I first got started, I sat down with everybody else, and you know the crazy thing is, you know who the first rapper was I ever signed?
Who?
Soulja Boy.
Oh,
my God! Get the
yo, that man
Soulja
really
Boy
is
always
yo.
a
You know what?
pioneer,
You know what's
man.
what's
that's
crazy?
the party.
Facts.
You know what's crazy? Because he made me. We was at the Millennial Tour, and he said to me, "Man, Spec over here. Spec got about $100 million sitting. Yeah, man, Spec richer than." He was like, he was like, "Man, Spec, I was the first rapper that signed the Alwazar."
Yeah.
And I say, yo, he was the first rapper that signed to my Alwazar company. He was the first
That's
rapper.
funny.
Bow Wow was the second.
Bow Wow was the second.
Then was Soulja Boy. Then was Sean Kingston, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Trina, Trick Daddy.
Man, you really had the
everybody
whole
had the whole
like
squad.
that whole time frame was like that's the hottest people at that time.
But it was a lot of people that didn't rock with me though. Like it was a lot of deals I took, and I didn't come empty-handed. I realized all the white boys was getting all the deals, and they would go with the guys with the suit and the tie, and they wouldn't go with me because who I was. Like I was humping on stage and doing all of that. So they looked at me in a different eye. They couldn't really take
perception
me
and
serious
reality.
like that.
There was a bridge there.
That's the reality,
right?
And social media was a lot different at that time. So a lot of people probably didn't even see the power.
They didn't see it. People come to me to this day and say, "Specky was trying to tell me."
Right.
Now imagine me preaching this in 2000 and
was it
8? No. It was way further than that. It was 2014. I'm preaching this.
Yeah.
This around Instagram.
Instagram
you know what I'm
just
saying?
popped off. Yeah.
So to them, they just like, I'm not Facebook making money. Like, what are you talking about, Spec? Like, nah, these white boys, you saying the same thing the white boys saying, but I'd rather go with the white boys because they got to know what they talking about.
Right.
Spec, I know this ain't you do music, bro.
Right.
So I had to overcome those objections. So once I realized that, I created a blue ocean strategy. So I brung
what's blue ocean?
So a blue ocean strategy.
Sound like some sauce in that.
Yeah. It's a whole lot of sauce. So blue ocean
code.
strategy is what makes you different than your competitors.
Okay.
So the average person try to take from somebody who's doing the same thing as them. So now they end up competing with the same exact strategies.
Right.
So Pizza Hut, they did a blue ocean strategy. They say, listen, I'm going to get you your pizza faster than anybody else. And if I don't get you your pizza within the next 45 minutes, you get 100% of your money back.
Yep.
That was a blue ocean strategy.
Yeah. Definitely separated.
McDonald's said, you know what? We not going to just target people. We going to target the kids.
So it basically puts you so far ahead of your competition. It creates that blue ocean. Like they just so far away that they can't even.
It creates separation.
It's a clear definition that, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. And this is what we have to offer.
Exactly. Yeah. So the whole market is doing this. You do that.
Yeah. So throughout this entire process, you essentially scaled this model so well that you actually became the first Black CEO to reach 1 trillion impressions on the internet.
Yes.
That means insane. 1 trillion people saw content that you created.
And I understood how to build content that well.
Man.
Where I would take these pages and make them the most viral pages on the internet. No matter who it was. When Kevin Gates was one of my clients. When Kevin Gates came,
you know that man viral as a motherfucker. He can't open his mouth one time and not go viral
now.
When Kevin Gates signed with me, he had a little under 1 million followers on Facebook. By the time I finished, he had 7 million followers.
Man.
Yeah, Soulja Boy, when I first started, Soulja Boy had like around 4 million followers within the next couple of years. It took him like 10 years to build that. In 2 years, I doubled what he had. in 2
Man.
years.
Yeah, that's
And I go,
that's
Trina,
special.
I could go I can go down
Right.
to
Long
everybody.
list. Yeah, nah, that's credibility right there. I mean, anybody that could do something not just once, so people are like, oh nah, it's just a chance, he got lucky, this and that. You replicate it over and over and over and
That
over.
means you got
again,
the
you know what I'm
sauce,
saying?
man. That means you got
You got the
sauce,
cheat
so-
code. That's it. That's the
But
cheat code.
when you confident in what you do, you can bet on yourself. I believe you can never make the wrong investment in yourself.
100%.
I had to learn through my process of starting a company. Now, mind you, I was the dude from Pretty Ricky. I knew
Right.
nothing about starting a business. I had to learn how to do customer support. I had to learn how to do sales. I had to learn how to do marketing, Facebook ads. I had to learn all this from scratch.
Everything. Yeah.
So I invested in myself. I invested in programs, coaches, mentors,
Mentorships,
because I feel like if you someone who's mentoring somebody and you don't have a mentor, you're a
You
hypocrite.
lost. Yeah.
That's 1,000%.
You're a hypocrite.
Yeah.
If you're a coach, how are you a coach with no coach?
You know, it's really sinking in the importance of having that person that you can soundboard that's been through that, and especially like you said, having that GPS is like, yo, avoid these things because it could have been so much easier. Right? It could have
Invaluable,
been so much
man. That's
smoother.
priceless.
100%.
That's really
So let me
priceless.
ask you this: do you offer mentorships and coaching and programs and things like that? What does that look like?
Yeah, like I mean, when I first started my school, Spectacular Academy, it was because I went through such a hideous time trying to figure it out myself.
Right.
It was no place I can go that I can get all this information at one place. So I created a program called the Mastering of Business Affluence. Right? My entrepreneur MBA program. I say, yo, school systems got an MBA, but I'm gonna show you a real MBA.
So that's employee MBA.
I went to Harvard to go figure out what was they thing they was doing. Why is it so hyped? Harvard is the first school ever built in the United States.
So I'm sorry. Pause real quick.
We gotta.
You
highlight a
drove
few
to
things.
Howard to see it. I mean, to Harvard to see what they had going on.
No,
or you attended.
I attended Harvard.
Man,
Wait a second.
that's a different breed.
My man, you telling me
Harvard University.
Spectacular from Pretty Ricky
Yeah.
that was doing the all that.
Yeah. Shoulder movement.
Pop
Hip
thrusting on stage.
Yeah.
Got into Harvard, attended Harvard business program, and then created a program for entrepreneur business.
Correct.
business
Because
owners.
I believe in success leave clues.
Wow.
And I feel like nobody should reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? You take what's really working for somebody else
Yeah.
and what's really working for somebody else. And then you take that formula and you add on top of it. So I go to Harvard to go
research,
figure it
yeah.
out. So once I mastered what they figured, I bring it to my own school now. And I'm gonna make it better. So I take that and I add it into my curriculum and I create a toolbox that every entrepreneur need to get to 7 figures. So now if you need to learn business, credit, leadership, operations, social media marketing, financing, whatever you need for your business, it's every last thing that I ever went through that made an impact in my life. And even though I am an expert in many fields, I have the person that makes millions of dollars off of it. That's why Him 500 is teaching credit in my program. Right? That's why I have, guys who do millions of dollars in ads, teaching ads in my program.
Yeah.
They make $30 million in advertising.
Yeah.
So that's why I have a guy who's teaching leadership in my program. He makes $1 million a month off of leadership. So I get millionaires. I replace professors
With the real practical
people who
with
actually
somebody
are
you would
real
actually
life.
want to trade lives with.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to ask yourself, the person that's teaching you, would you want to trade situations with them? That's how you know if you should really listen.
That's a fact.
That's a fact.
So I feel like every single scenario, you got to make sure that you have the right people that's going to teach you the right information. You drive around the schools, you go look in the parking lot. You want to drive any of those cars in that parking lot?
Ain't good school for you. Huh?
You want to trade spots with any of those people that's teaching you? If the answer is no, then and the same thing with parents,
That's a fact.
right? We listen to our parents with a lot of things, but the reality is they might not be the best person to teach me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you ask, I ask a lot of my students, I say,
Yep.
hey, when they first get with me, I say, would you trade bank accounts with your parents? Would you trade cars with your parents? Would you trade lives with your parents? Would you want to trade that?
That's a
The
fact.
answer is no.
Yeah.
So I tell them, what are you gonna do when somebody asks you your kid this same question 30 years from now? You want them to say, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that always been my passion, just giving back to people. That fulfills me.
Right.
I can easily say, yes, I done made $100 million in my life before, right?
Right.
But it's amazing to say, I help my students make that.
Yeah.
It makes everybody shine brighter
Everybody.
because
Yeah.
I illuminate off of your
And
off your
everybody can
brightness.
see.
Mm.
Everybody
gonna
that
see
doesn't
us.
have the light gonna see.
You gonna see us.
Right.
Because we got the light. We got the glow.
Right.
We got the glow. So if you ever see like the love, I ain't gonna say it because that's internal. But
Yeah.
if you inside,
You
like
know.
I
Okay.
know when I
that-
see my people,
there's a cheat code that he's talking
Yeah.
about. You got to be inside.
you
to know
gotta
it.
be inside
You
to
gotta
know
be
it.
inside.
But
Yeah,
I
man.
know my people.
Mhm.
I know my people because we got our, we know.
Right,
So we
right,
got
right.
our thing where you're like,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
we know to show you
Yeah.
extra love.
Right.
Because it's a family at the end of the day.
Facts. Sure.
Like people think just because we got the same blood, that
Mhm.
make us family. No, that make you a relative.
Right.
What makes you family is somebody that want to see you grow,
Mhm.
somebody that want to see you win, somebody that want to see you build, somebody that see you fall down, they're gonna pick you up and they're gonna take
100%.
you across the finish
Yeah,
line.
man.
Even though I ran full speed past that shit, I gotta hit my brakes and say, my brother or my sister down.
Yeah.
Let me go grab them. Let me pull them
Mhm.
across the finish line.
Facts. 1000%.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
real,
man.
bro.
That's special, man. Shoot.
That's
special.
spectacular.
That's spectacular.
That's spectacular,
That is
man.
spectacular, man. No
Like-
pun intended, man.
All pun intended, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that,
for
man.
sure, for
All right,
sure.
so look, man, this is it's been an amazing interview. First and foremost,
Mhm.
very very impressed. First off, I want to recap what we heard. You know what I'm saying, and I want to definitely go in and find out a little bit more about where people can find you.
Mhm.
The cheat codes that I kind of gathered from everything that you said here today. First cheat code I heard was, making sure that you you find your niche, you find your lane, and you go all into it. Right, you find out what's unique to you, and you go in that space, similar to how you did with the meme pages. You found your rhythm with that and expanded on it. Second cheat code I heard was bet on yourself. Right, always be willing to once you master your craft, make sure that you bet on yourself. And be willing to put your money where your mouth is. Because if you don't bet on yourself, ain't nobody else gonna bet on you. Right. Third cheat code I heard, man, is mastering the art of audience. Right, because once you build an audience that's big enough, you can always monetize and go whichever way you want to find success for your brand, for your company, for others, for whatever it is that you got going on, right? And also being able to leverage other audiences, other people's audiences as well, right? So I think that's top three that I heard. What you got?
Man, top three that I heard, number one was just identifying the skill set, like mastering other people's voices that you had. Other people may have a different skill set, like being able to connect, being able to do leadership. You got people in leadership that are doing 7 figures. You know what I'm saying? If you got that leadership personality and aura about you, people like following you, just identify that and build on that just so you can help other people become better leaders. Another thing that I heard you say was the whole, mentorship situation.
Yeah.
I mean, that's big. That's something that really touched me personally. And I feel like I'm going to become a better mentor just so I can help others become better mentors as well, especially in business, because that's a passion of mine. It doesn't feel like really work because it's something that I love doing. You know what I'm saying? So that was amazing. And then third thing is being able to always be grateful for whatever you have, being able to identify and celebrate those micro milestones before you reach those macro milestones. That's a very, very major cheat code personally.
Yeah,
like, cause I was like, we be just running, you know what I'm saying? We just trying to chase. We have the, ultimate macro goal, but celebrate it in between. Like, we be having our 1 year, 2 years, stuff like that. We just like, man, it's
we ain't
whatever,
been
man.
to we ain't had a party,
nothing,
and celebrate nothing in 3 years.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man. So that's definitely something that I'm, we definitely gonna be putting into real action, real practice, tangible stuff. So, man, I really appreciate you. You really dropped those gems, man, and I'm ready to go out, man. We got a lot of.
I got one last one I heard too.
Yeah,
not even heard. One that I have, extracted myself just from your whole storyline, man. Right. It's not letting anybody define you
Mm-hmm.
or try to box you into anything. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? I think that's like one of the most major things I take
Right.
from your story is like, man, being able to go from one thing and be put into a niche and go into a completely different aspect and arena and dominate in both.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, you being able to kind of go whichever way that you want to go and defining yourself and who you are as an individual, not letting other people put whatever they want to put onto you, man. So, all right. Those are the cheat codes I heard, man.
I got more too.
Oh, man.
drop it down.
Hey, listen, hold on.
Let's
Hold
go.
on. He's not done.
Hey,
Cheat
ladies and
codes on the
gentlemen.
way. Hey, drop
Let's
them, man.
go.
Let's go.
Hey.
Like what you were saying earlier, like what you heard, if you having issues with people following your lead, it's because they know that you don't believe in yourself.
Right.
They can sense it, they can feel it. And when you see the people that's leading a tribe, that's because the confidence is so high because they prepared and they did the preparation to have that confidence. So that's one thing that I would say you have to master.
Right.
And put the time and energy in. A lot of people, they all want the cheat codes.
Yep, for sure.
Which is fine.
But
with those cheat codes, you got to put the work in. You got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
That's a bar. That's a whole bar. That's
Man.
a cheat code right there, man. I think that's. I mean, that's. I can't even emphasize how important that is because you got to be able to operate in your zone of genius. You know what I'm saying? Let others operate in their zone of genius in order to pull anything off, man. So, all right, man. Let me ask you this, man. It's a shameless plug time.
Shameless.
I want to know, and the people want to know. How can they tap in with anything that you got going on and where can they find you? How can they tap in with Spectacular Smith and the Spectacular Academy or anything you got going on?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is for me to teach you for 5 days. I charge $25,000 for an hour for me to mentor, for me to coach. So I decided after talking to my team, I wanted to give back as much as possible, but get the maximum result out of it for my mentees. It's to join me for a 5-day event where I'm going to teach you how to turn, I seen the shirt earlier, turn your passion
to a paycheck. Let's go.
to your paycheck.
Yeah.
Turn your skill set that you already have, that you understand, and I'm going to teach you my game on what I know how to do on social media and turn that into a digital asset that's going to pay you while you sleep. Every single time I wake up in the morning, I'm richer than I was the day before.
That's a beautiful place to be.
And I want every last person that's willing to listen to me and my team to be able to do the same thing.
Right.
Had one person come inside the challenge, my last one, she made $750 the day right after the challenge ended. 2 weeks later, $10,000. 2 more weeks later, $21,000. Off the same information from that actual challenge.
That's powerful. Yeah.
So I want everybody to join. It's socialmediaincomechallenge.com. You can put www.socialmediaincomechallenge.com. But the best thing to do is text me at 786. No, I'm going to give you my personal number. 305-614-9296. All right.
Only here at Cheat Code, man.
Hit me up.
Too,
and if you want, just text me income. If you're really about that. If you want it, just literally text me income. And I'll shoot you the link personally. And then we can get the conversation going and see where you fit at.
What's that number one more time, man?
305-614-9296. Tap in.
Tap in, man.
Tap in, man. Listen, y'all heard it here, man. Spectacular Smith, man, a living legend. When it comes to the business game, not even the music,
don't get
just
it
the
twisted.
music game, man,
Business.
but the business game.
Big business.
So what I want y'all to do, make sure y'all always, as always, what they got to do?
Tell a friend to tell a friend
To
to
tell
tell
a-
a friend
And
to
tell a mother friend, man. You
Let's
hear
go.
it. Cheat code unlocked, man. Tap in.